All right, everybody, and welcome to this is patch 12.13 top lane tier list. This is the best tier list for top lane you will ever see. I will be ranking every champion on S, A, B, C, and D. We're going through every champion in the game. However, any champion I don't think can reasonably top lane, I will just leave out of here. The rankings will be S rank is overpowered, A rank is top tier, B tier is extremely playable, but maybe not top tier, C tier is playable, that's about it, D tier is unplayable. That's going to be the ranking. The actual system itself will be around, I'm going to say Masters to Grandmasters, somewhere around there. I don't like counting high diamond, because if I start counting high diamond, or sorry, not high diamond, challenger, like the highest ranks, if you start counting the top 100, it will throw off. There's a lot of champions who actually become unplayable in the top 100 because of counter picking, because of the meta, things like that. And if you count the low ranks, that doesn't count either because they just play a totally different game. So this will be a high ranking tier list, but not literally like, competitive, tournament level, okay? So anyway, without further ado, we're going to go through every single champion, starting with Aatrox. Aatrox, I'm going to put firmly into A tier. I just want to say before I go in this, I keep delaying making tier lists because there keeps being another patch, and then another patch, and then another patch. And I keep thinking, oh, I'll do it next patch, it'll be more stabilized. Or I'll do it next patch, it'll be more stabilized. But the thing is, I've seen other people make tier lists, and they're not really that good at it. I'm gonna say it to you guys. They're quite bad, in fact, at making tier lists. They're really bad. In fact, I think I'm going to be better than any of these people. Now, maybe this will be outdated in a week or 2 weeks, but I think people need a better kind of tier list. This world needs a better kind of tier list maker. Anyway, Aatrox is going to be A tier. He's probably going to drop down to B tier next patch, but for now, I'm going to put him in A tier. He's counterpicked by Gnar, which is bad, and maybe that should put him into B tier because Gnar is extraordinarily popular and counterpicking him right now. But I think he's A tier. He's very first pickable. He's solid into most matchups. There's very little things that can actually shove him and destroy him. He's a pretty solid first pick. He's an overall very, very good champion, in my opinion. Yeah. Next up, I'm going to skip Ahri, so we're going to go to Akali. Akali, and obviously we're skipping Ahri. Ahri can't top lane. Akali. So Akali is, I'm going to say Akali is a fine B tier. I think Akali can be counterpicked, and I do think she has some weaknesses. She definitely has some matchups that aren't exactly wonderful for her, but she's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. She doesn't really get outscaled anymore. Really, there's nothing wrong with Akali. I just think that she just has enough bad matchups that drive her down to B tier. There's some champions like Gangplank that can just make her really not want to play the game. So Akali, we're putting into B tier. Fine champion, but yeah. Akshan, I'm also gonna put into. I'm actually gonna put Akshan into C tier at this point. I don't think Akshan is really bad enough to be in C tier, but there's enough champions who literally do his job but better, and particularly with the durability update, I think that he's just, there's so little reason to go Akshan anymore. I think with the nerfs to health potions, second wind, bone plating, all that stuff, I think Akshan will probably go to B, maybe even A tier, but that's next patch. For this patch, I think, and this is me personally, let me turn chat off for this one. I think that Akshan is definitely a C tier pick right now. Yeah, there's just too many champions who are just, they literally do his job, but better. And I think that it's not the hardest deal in the world to go Doran Shield, second wind, health potion, etc. Tank through his early game, and then the durability update hurts him a lot. Alistar can't top lane, can't top lane, can't top lane. None of these champions can top lane. Azir, I'm actually gonna put into B tier. I think if you actually learn how to play Azir, he's actually pretty playable in top lane. It's just nobody wants to play Azir, and the people who do want to play Azir, they end up just taking him mid lane. But to be completely blunt with you, I think if you guys have ever actually fought Azir in top lane, that you would know he's actually quite devastating and very frustrating to fight against. Lots of champions can't do anything to deal with him. He pokes him down indefinitely. Dorn Shield's second win champions can tank through him for the most of the early game, but if you can't do that, like if you try to play Jax into Azir, you might as well just like forfeit. If you see you're up against Azir as Jax, like it's kind of just like a forfeit moment. On that note, I'm actually rethinking it. I think I'm gonna put a call or Anivia into C tier. I think that Anivia actually, it's the same kind of problem Azir has. There's really no reason to pick her, but I actually do think Anivia's got a lot of matchups that she does well into that people that just kind of don't notice. Yeah, none of these champions can reasonably go top lane. Camille we're putting into A tier. The Divine Sunderer changes don't seem to have afflicted her at all. And I think that she's still doing perfectly fine. She basically has no bad matchups right now. Worst that can really happen is what you fight against a Jax. That's really not that scary in the grand scheme of things. So Anivia can top lane, but has a lot of bad matchups. As a counter pick, I think she can actually beat people up. Camille's just a solid A tier. Next up, Cassiopeia. I'm gonna put Cassiopeia. Most of these kind of niche champions I'll put in C tier. Cassiopeia also, there's a lot of matchups. There's a lot of champions who can't do anything into her. There's some champions who can literally just, they can't do anything. They literally can't do anything. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Anivia. Yeah, there's some champions like Darius who Cassiopeia can just straight up beat in melee because she just does so much damage and kiting and that stuff. And I don't know, I think some of these champions, Anivia, Cassiopeia, Azir, you're never going to see them played because no one is going to learn to play them and then go to top lane. But if you did, I think they're actually, as a second pick, I mean, basically every one of these champions. Cho'Gath, I'm actually going to put Cho'Gath in the firm D tier. I really don't like this champion. I don't like him at all. I think that first picking Cho'Gath leads into so many bad situations right now where champions will be picked to outscale you or just run you down or murder you. I don't think Cho'Gath is reasonably playable right now. That's actually my opinion. I don't think Cho'Gath is reasonably playable. I used to think he was playable, but I don't know, the durability update came through and I thought the durability update was going to help him and I thought that he was pretty good, but I mean, there's just, Cho'Gath doesn't do anything. He loses early game and then he gets outscaled. And that's Cho'Gath. He loses early game, then he gets outscaled. He's not first pickable. If you're second pick, there's literally no reason to pick Cho'Gath. He's just bad. Honestly, he's just bad. Darius, I'm actually going to put into B tier. Here's the thing. I think Darius's win rate and pick rate are absolutely impressive, and I think he as a champion is extraordinarily good, but I think his win rate is actually inflated by people playing poorly into him, and I'm going to be blunt with you right now. I have not really been that impressed by Darius. I think he might be able to earn an A tier. Some people think he's S tier. I don't think that at all. I think he's maybe a low A or B tier. I definitely think there's a lot of matchups he can do good in, and there's a lot of matchups he can do bad in, but particularly, like, if we start looking down here, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, if you first pick Darius, they can go Anivia, Cassiopeia, Azir. All these champions just absolutely shred you and won't let you do anything in the laning phase, and you need a jungler just to get out of it, and you're putting yourself in a bad situation. Mundo, I'm gonna put in C tier. He's not literally unplayable like Cho'Gath, but I just don't think he's very good right now. I'm gonna be completely blunt with you. Yeah, I don't really see any reason to pick Dr. Mundo right now. That's my actual opinion. He's C tier, like he's playable, but he certainly doesn't do anything good. In fact, I might actually just put Dr. Mundo in D tier, but I think he's better than some of the other champions. I already know some champions I'm going to put into D tier, and let me tell you, they're much worse than Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo is not good though. He'd be like at the low end of C tier. By the end of this video, I might go through again and rearrange them. But for now, Dr. Mundo's only in C tier because he's not in D tier. Let's see. Next up, we have some people think Fiddlesticks is playable top. He's not. Fiora is S tier. The nerfs they did to Fiora basically counteracted the durability update buffing her. Because she does percent health true damage, that means people getting more armor and people getting more health did not affect Fiora. So she got buffed. So Riot went through and they nerfed her a little bit, but the nerf only counteracted the buff. She's back to an insane ban rate, insane pick rate, insane win rate. S tier being this champion must be nerfed. She is an S tier. This champion is disgusting. Galio, I'm not gonna put, I don't know. Gangplank is S tier as well. He has unlimited poke. He's tanky. He's hard to kill. He scales he doesn't scale like the best, but he still scales pretty well. Good Gangplank players can bully the sun out of the sky. Honest to God. Bad Gangplank players will just spam Q over and over and over. They'll just spam Q. Good Gangplank players will hit you with their passive, their barrels, their Q spam, ignite, and you're just dead. And there's not much you can do about it. He's just stupidly overpowered right now. Garen. Now, at the rank I play, I think Garen is a B or a C. I think Garen, honestly, I'm going to put him in C tier. There's not many matchups he can do good into right now. I think he's better than Mundo, at any rate. In fact, to be completely honest, he's probably the best in C tier, but there's not many matchups he can do good in anymore. He loses to Gnar, Aatrox, Jesus, he loses to everyone going Divine Sunderer. He can still ignite ult some people, but even that is going downhill. I really honestly don't think much of Garen right now. He's just not, yeah. Gnar is S tier. His range poke is really good. Once you get to learn how to play him, like, this is the thing. I played a couple games as Gnar a couple days ago, and it was like the first time I'd played him in 3 years, and I did so well. Even into champions that I thought were gonna murder me by just gap closing and running me down like Riven, with the new fleet footwork and flinching and all this shenanigans, you're so good at kiting, and then even if people do jump on you, oh wait, you've got bone plating. So they can't even do that much to you. Yeah, he's just S tier. He's exceptionally overpowered, incredible scaling, incredibly safe early game. No real downsides to the champion. He can build the split push, he can build a team fight, he can go teleport, he can go ignite. There's absolutely no downside to Gnar right now. Gragas, I'm contemplating B tier. Let me actually check. How many people are picking Gragas at Masters Plus? I want to look this up. The problem is my champions do well into Gragas. Yeah, he is the 11th highest pick. The problem with Gragas right now is that some of the best champions in the game right now are actually extremely good into him. Aatrox does well into him. Gnar does well into him. Gangplank does well into him. But he does really good into certain matchups like Camille. I think he can also bully Darius really hard. I think he bullies Fiora or he loses to Fiora. I don't really know that one. I don't play either of them. But yeah, Gragas is fine. I'd put him at a fine B tier. He's fine. Timon, there's not much more to say to that. Graves, okay, where even is Graves? Does anyone play Graves in top anymore? I'm looking this up. Yeah, they do, but I'm gonna put Graves into C tier. I think he's better than people make him out to be. That's my opinion. I think a lot of people are really bad at Graves, and literally all they do is attack move the minion wave. They don't harass their opponent. They don't really do anything. I think he's playable, but like, I literally think people are just so bad at him and nobody bothers to learn him that, yeah. Gwen, I'm gonna put an S tier. I've been really accurate about this shit in the past, by the way. Gwen is exceptionally powerful. That's my opinion. I think even after the nerfs, I think she's still doing incredibly well. I think she'll be pick banned in competitive play again. I think a lot of people just need to learn to be a bit safer in the early game, but no, I think Gwen S tier again. The fact that Gwen is even at a 50% win rate right now tells you just how broken she is. Gwen is balanced at like a 47%. No, I think she'll get another nerf. No question in my mind. Hecarim, I'm putting into D tier. He is technically a top laner, but he doesn't do much of anything. There's no reason to pick him. He's bad. Not much more to say than that. Heimerdinger, I'm going to put into C tier. He's playable, and that's why I'm putting C tier. Like, he's playable, but the thing is, he's just another one of these automatically win lane then get outscaled picks. How many picks are there, and this is why I'm putting Akshan down here. How many of these automatically win lane, then get outscaled picks are there? There's Akshan, there's Heimerdinger, there's Quinn, there's just so many, right? And they just... What does he contribute better? Oh, he's ranged and he automatically wins in melee, but then he gets outscaled. So does everyone. It's like everyone does that now. It's like a theme. It's like practically a champion class at this point. The ranged automatically win early, then get outscaled class. Illaoi. Where do I even put Illaoi? I'm debating between C tier and D tier. I'm gonna base this based on how many people are picking her. Not a lot. Not a lot of people are actually picking Illaoi, but she doesn't seem to be doing that bad. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna put her. Oh man, I don't know. I might even be so inclined to put her in B tier and just say that people are bad at her. I think honestly, I'm gonna put Illaoi into B tier. I think part of the problem is the champions I play are pretty good into her, and I think I underrate her because the champions I play are good into her, and because she doesn't do good at the rank I play, or maybe the meta. I don't really know. I think she honestly is B, maybe C. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I had to compare to Garen, she's definitely better than Garen. So I think I'm just gonna put her in a low B tier at this point. I think that's probably fair. Irelia, I'm gonna put into B tier as well. I don't know what it is, but I don't really struggle with Irelia anymore. Even if I die to her, she just doesn't tend to do that much anymore. I'm not really sure what it is. It's like, it's hard to die to her these days, and even if I do, I tend to just outscale her. Maybe not 1v1, but I tend to outscale her into team fights. I don't really have many troubles with her. I don't think she's bad. I think she's a firmly playable pick. I just don't... She's not that amazing, you know? She's just not that amazing. Nothing more to say than that. Jax, I'm gonna put Jax into a firm A tier. Lethal tempo, you go lethal tempo, you run at people, you kill them. That's all you do with Jax. You go lethal tempo, you run at people, you kill them. That's all you do. That's all you ever done. It's really strong right now. Divine Sunderer ended up actually buffing him a little bit. The change to Divine Sunderer made him a bit stronger. I think in the upcoming patch, they're nerfing Unflinching, and they're nerfing Biscuits, and they're nerfing Corrupting Potion. So I think Jax will basically go down to like B, maybe even C after those. But for now, as of this exact patch, I would say that Jax is a firm A tier. Who do you have next? Jarvan. Jarvan can go top, but I put him in D tier. Jace, I'd put in B tier as well. I think Jace is severely underrated. I think the durability update actually did him a bit of good, but I think like a lot of these champions, like Akshan, basically everyone does his job, but better, right? Like, if you want to be a range, like, basically, because Gnar is in S tier, Jace is not picked, and nobody gives a shit about him, because you can play Gnar. Why play the range lane bully Jace when you could play, well, Gnar? Gnar is a little bit worse in the early game, but he's significantly safer, and with the nerf to Second Wind and the nerf to health potions, I think Jace will end up being better. But for now, I think he's honestly like a fine A tier. Sorry, B tier. B tier. He's a fine B tier. I don't think any of these champions can top lane. Not really. Kalista, I'm actually going to put in C tier. No one plays her. No one will ever play her. And if she ever gets popular, Riot will fucking destroy her and her family. But honest to God, Kalista can go top lane and bully so many champions. It's just nobody really wants to or cares, because there's just no reason to, right? Like, once again, it's like you could pick so many champions that are better than Kalista at doing her job. But again, I think she's a fine C tier. And if she gets a few buffs, that's the thing. And I think a lot of people don't notice this. It's like every 2 or 3 seasons, Riot buffs Kalista a little bit too much. And then she shows up in top lane, just absolutely massacring every top laner. And you never suspect it, and it will happen. And I promise you, in a couple years, you'll see it happening. Karthus can go top, but I'm not going to rate him. I'm not going to rate any of these champions. Kennen, I'm also going to put in... Let me think about Kennen, actually. Kennen, yeah. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I'm gonna be honest. I have not been afraid of Kennen in so long. I think he's one of these D tier picks who hypothetically maybe can be picked, but I'm gonna be dead goddamn honest. I have not seen him do anything in so long. I just don't care. Kale, I'm putting in C tier. I think as you get higher and higher and higher ranked, Kale is extraordinarily overvalued. She is basically unplayable at the higher ranks, and I do not understand who's picking her. I have bullied her with every champion, even when she tries to counterpick me. She's not playable, in my opinion. In fact, I honest to God, I'm gonna put her in D tier. I'm gonna make the executive decision. Kale is D tier. She's a low ranking pick. That's it. I have thought absolutely nothing of her. Every single time I fight Kale, my thoughts are, oh God, oh, just not good, not good at all. Kindred, I'm also actually, I'm gonna throw you the curveball. I'm gonna put Kindred in C tier. Here's the thing. Kindred is another one of these champions who can absolutely wreck every melee champion in the game, and it's ridiculously unfun. It's just nobody bothers to learn her. There's a lot of champions I actually do rate for top lane, and I do fight them a couple times a month because I do play, 90 games a day. But I do think, like, if someone picked Kindred top, my thoughts wouldn't be, oh boy, free win. My thoughts would be, oh, fuck me. Because Kindred can actually start running you down if she, I think Kindred, there's just, no one's ever going to play her top. Everyone's just going to play a better champion, right? Like, why play Kindred if you could play Quinn, right? But if someone did pick Kindred top, I think it would be a solid C tier. Kled, I'm going to put in D tier. I don't think he's actually D tier, but let me explain myself on this one. Kled got buffed recently, and it was bugged, so the buff literally didn't go live. I shit you not. The buff was bugged, and it literally did not go live. I shit you not. The buff did not go live. Nothing else to say. He's bad right now, but he's not unplayable. But just the fact they literally forgot to actually buff him, I'm putting him in D tier. Fuck that. Malphite, I'm putting in D tier. I don't think he's playable at all. I think he's overrated as fuck. I think even as a second pick, even as a counter pick, even as a autofill pick, why would you pick Malphite? He's bad, and I literally see no reason to pick him. Nothing more to say. He just, nothing. Just absolutely nothing to add to that. Lee Sin, I'm not going to even list as a top laner. I fought him the other day, and he did so bad. My thoughts were, oh boy. Lalaya, I'm going to put a B tier. I actually think Lalaya is not bad top lane. And the right counter pick into the right situation, I think she does quite well. She sort of goes in a Gragas role, a Azir role. Look, if you know how to play them, then they're good. And if you counter pick with them, then they're good. But I wouldn't first pick her, and I would never learn her because that's stupid. But like a lot of these champions you're never gonna see ever because there's no reason to learn them. No one will ever play them. But me playing like 10 games a day, which ends up being like, what is it, 300 a month? I see these champions like once a month. And when I do, my thoughts are, oh, okay. And so I can kind of, I'm trying to rate as many champions as I can for top lane. Mordekaiser, I'm actually gonna put in a solid B tier. I know that might be overrating him a little bit, but I think as a solid counter pick, he's good. First pick, probably not that good. Second pick, pretty good. If you need magic damage, I guess you could also try to first pick him in top. He's not unplayable, and I do think he's quite decent. I just don't think he's all that. Definitely a low B tier. If I redo this, at the end of this, I'll go back and I'll probably try to like reorganize this list. But for now, I actually think Mord is like a solid low B tier. I'm like the only one who rates him that highly, but yeah. What else we got here? No, none of you. Nasus, D tier. Do I need to say more? It's high rank. Every time I fight Nasus, my thoughts are No. I've seen so many Nidalee top shitters. I'm putting it in D tier in the hopes that they stop doing it. It's annoying as fuck. Please stop. Nocturne has been top laner for a long time, but let me tell you, D tier. Yeah. Olaf, C tier. I barely rate Olaf right now. I think he's basically unplayable. I don't care. He's countered by everything. He doesn't scale. Literally, the only thing Ornn has going for him, not Ornn, Olaf. Literally, I'm telling you right now. Literally, the only thing Olaf has going for him is the fact that very often people literally forget he has the shield and they die into him. Or they literally forget his mechanics and they die into him. That is it. He doesn't do anything else at all. He's terrible. He's really bad. He was already bad and then he got nerfed again. He's absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely 100% unplayably terrible. I don't give a shit if you guys think he's good. He's so bad. He's so bad. Okay, Renekton. Well, actually, no, I skipped past a little bit. Did I rate Ornn? Yeah, we definitely rate Ornn. I'm gonna put Ornn into A tier. Nothing more to say than A tier. I think everyone's gonna agree with me on that. He's solid. He can scale into late game. He's a brick wall. He's not S tier. I think he's a low A tier. I don't really rate him much higher than A. Or in all honesty, he's probably like a high B. But yeah. I mean, for a tank, he's pretty good. I think. Yeah, he's that's about it's like the highest award I'm gonna give him. Yeah, for a tank, he's good. Pantheon D tier. I have straight up beat Pantheon. I have dead ass beat Pantheon with champions he's supposed to beat in the laning phase. He's bad. He's so bad. In fact, they literally bugged his Q, and they undid the change they did. He's just so bad. In fact, you know, next patch they're trying to shift him back into the jungle because he's so bad at mid lane and he's so bad at top lane. They're literally saying, well, let's put him back into jungle. Yeah. Poppy, I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I think Poppy's like a D tier. I rate Poppy so low right now. I thought she was gonna do so much better on this patch. You know what? I'll be fair to her. She's like a C tier, maybe like a high C tier even. I'll be a little bit more fair to her. Yeah, she's like always on the cusp of being playable and yet not actually being playable. She's like almost always playable. Every patch, Poppy is almost playable. That's how I'd put her. Every goddamn patch, she is almost playable. Yeah, let's see. Quinn, I'm actually gonna throw you guys a curveball. I'm putting Quinn into A tier right now. I think Quinn is actually kind of crazy, and I think particularly with the upcoming second wind nerfs and Dorn's shield, second wind, health potion, all that stuff. I think she's super underrated, and I think she's way better than people make her out to be. I think that it's just that a lot of the current champions picked beat her up, but I honestly think that Quinn is so much better than people make her out to be. I mean, I might put her B tier, but she's definitely like really good. Yeah, not much more to say. I think a lot of people play bad with her, and I think a lot of people misplay on her and make her look bad, but no, she's quite good right now. No. Kiana, do I rate for Kiana for top? I'll put Kiana in C tier. I have seen some Kianas in top, and she can use her stealth to get the advantage on a lot of champions, and I definitely think that she's better than people make her out to be. But there's, once again, with a lot of these C tier champions, there's literally no reason to pick Kiana if you could pick other stuff. Like, why would you pick Kiana, period? She's playable, but like, literally, why would you pick her? You can just find a champion like Kiana who's better, right? I don't know. So, yeah. Let's see, what else we got here? Rel, no. Renekton, okay, I'm gonna be honest with this one. I actually think Renekton's B tier. Maybe like a low B tier. Here's my opinion. I think Renekton is actually better than people make him out to be, but people keep doing trolling builds. I don't think he's good, but I think he's firmly playable. With his Blade of the Ruined King Prowler's build, he does a lot of damage. He's still got a good laning phase. He had that Q hotfix that went under a lot of people's radars. He had that ult buff that went under a lot of people's radars because it really didn't do that much. But more importantly, people are actually figuring out good builds on him. And I think that's true. He's firmly playable right now. I would call him firmly playable, but not much more than playable. I don't rate him any higher than that. He's okay, you know. If you're playing for the best of the best champions, I see no reason to pick Renekton. Like in a contest between Renekton and Jax, I would pick Jax every day of the week. But yeah, Rengar, I'm gonna put a B tier as well. Rengar is one of those top laners who nobody picks up, but is good. But I think Rengar is good. There's not much more to talk about. He's not common. He's not picked. But yeah, he's up there. I rate him on the list. Riven, I'm putting it A tier. I don't think Riven is quite S tier, but I think she'll make her way back to S tier very goddamn quickly. I think she might even be back at S. You know what? I'm putting Riven in S tier. Let me be blunt. A lot of people are figuring out good builds for Riven. She never actually got nerfed. So she was S plus broken mega ultra auto win tier. She never got nerfed. The durability update happened. A lot of people played poorly with her, and then that was it. And now people are figuring out better builds on her. And in fact, I'm actually right on this one, and I'm literally going to show you guys this, just so you guys know I'm not crazy. If you go to D2 Plus, Riven is currently at a 52.88% win rate. If you go to Masters Plus, Riven's at a 53% win rate again. So yeah, Riven S again. People are figuring out how to work with her with the durability update. Riven's S, absolutely no question in my mind. I knew she was gonna do it. I fucking knew it. A couple weeks ago, I said, yeah, Riven players will remember how to play the champion. They'll start building correctly, and she'll go back to being a 53% win rate. And oh, she's at 53% win rate again. Shocker! She never got nerfed. She never got nerfed. So yes, she's still S tier. What else we got here? Rumble, C tier. I have really very little to comment on with Rumble. He's playable. Yeah, he's playable. It's just, for a lot of these champions, I don't really see a reason to play Rumble. Like, why would you play Rumble if at the end of the day, I mean, I guess you could do the Rumble Ignite all in, I guess, but it's like, why would you do that level 2 cheese? Or I mean, he can cheese for a while, but I don't know, man. He's playable. I rate him playable. That's about it. Yeah. Okay, so what else we got here? I don't think I made. Oh, Sejuani. Okay, so Sejuani, I actually was not rating at all, but I might actually, honest to God, push her all the way into A tier. I've been fighting a lot of Sejuani top, and while I'm not like big on the Sejuani. I don't think she's like some crazy champion, but I actually think she's so safe early game. And she's so damaging, and a lot of people don't really know how to play her, but I actually think she's doing quite well for herself right now. And she's something of a weak side warrior. I'm not really sure. I might put her into B tier. I think I'll put her in her B tier. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on Sejuani because I feel like she's gonna get better as time goes on, but they're also nerfing Sunfire next patch. So by the time people actually will learn how to play Sejuani, she'll probably end up in B tier anyway. Yeah, that's my opinion. I think by the time people learn how to play her well, Sunfire will be nerfed and she'll be B tier. Set. What do I do with Set? C tier. I don't rate Set very highly. I think he's bad. I honestly don't even give a shit anymore if I die to Set, because it's like, oh, I died to Set. Who fucking cares? It's Set. He's not gonna scale. He's not gonna get to late game. He's not gonna do anything. I might even just put him in B. Honestly, I might put him in D tier just to spite him. I rate him so lowly right now. I literally do not care when their team picks Set. I do not at all rate that champion. He's so bad. Shyvana, I'm gonna put into C tier. I know a lot of people don't. I think like basically every C tier champion I've listed here, I think she's playable. I don't think she's trolling. I don't think she's literally just trolling her team. But I don't rate her very highly at all. Remember, B tier and above, I think are actually playable, fine champions. C tier and below, it's like, why would you bust them out? Why would you play any of these champions? I think they're playable. I just don't think there's any reason to bust out any of these champions. Yeah. Talia top, I don't rate Talia top. Shen top, I'm gonna put him in B tier. Playable, just why would you play Shen when you can play Ornn? They're both tanks. Ornn is better. Yes, they're not literally the same champion. Shen is obviously fundamentally different, but I just don't think Shen's as good as Ornn. Ornn is better, in my opinion. Shen also gets bullied early game, and he doesn't scale that well. I don't know. He's a fine pick. He's a fine B tier pick. I don't think he needs to be buffed. I think he's a fine B tier pick. Whenever Shen gets buffed, he immediately shoots to S tier. So just leave him in B tier, right? If you're listening to this, being like, Hashinshin has rated Shen at B tier. Yeah, I gotta double that shield, put like 7 more damage on his Q rank. No. Just keep him B tier. Trust me. Oh, I forgot to rank Rise. D tier. I don't know. D tier. He's technically a top laner. He's just bad at it. D. All these champions are fucking terrible. Rise is terrible. Sion is terrible. Singed is terrible. Literally, in my opinion, no reason to play any of these champions. Not one. Literally no reason. I don't care. Oh, but Hashinshin Sion, yeah, and then Sion got every item he built nerfed. Then he got nerfed, and now he's shit. Is he literally D tier? No, he's probably more like a C tier. He's probably more like a C tier. In fact, Singed is probably more like a high C tier as well. But I just don't see any reason to bust these champions out. I realistically can't give them higher than C tier. I'm gonna be blunt. Maokai D tier. You guys want me to rank Maokai? D tier. How about D for dipshit? Can I rank lower than D? He's gonna be dipshit tier. If you play Maokai, you're a dipshit. There you go. What else you got here? Skarner, D tier. Yeah, some people play Skarner top. Don't rate him. Don't rate him at all. Silas, honest to God, C tier. I actually think he should be in your roster. He's probably the highest of the C tiers. First picking him, bad idea. Having him in your roster, honestly, not a bad idea. Not much more to say than that, though. He can counterpick Malphite. Who plays Malphite? Nobody. He does well into some champions, yes. But overall, at the end of the day, why would you play Silas if you could play Mordekaiser or Gwen? Period. If you need magic damage in top lane, Mordekaiser, Gwen, Akali, a tank for magic damage. No reason to bust out the Silas. Tom Kench goes to D tier. I don't know. I mean, he's more like a C tier right now. I'll be fair. I'll be fair. I'm trying to not put champions in D tier just because I hate them. D tier. Yeah, actually, I did just think of one thing though. Silas does soft counter Gnar, but that's it. And I don't think that's enough to push him into B tier. I mean, Gnar's gonna get nerfed anyway, and then what? And then there's still no reason, right? Tom Kench will be down there. Teemo will be in D tier. Teemo can go fuck himself. He's D for get the duck out of my house, you piece of shit. Tryndamere, I'm gonna put Tryndamere actually in B tier. He's good. It's just people. The problem with Tryndamere is Riot buffs Tryndamere, he becomes good. Then it takes like 6 months, and then eventually people notice he's good again, and then people start playing him again. Yeah, honestly, he might even be A tier. But I'm not gonna go as far as to call him A tier. I'd put him in he's firmly playable. Nothing wrong with that champion. Nothing wrong with him. Did I skip Swain? Swain's gonna be in C tier as well. He does well into some champions. He's not trolling your team, but there's like no reason to bust him out, in my opinion. He's much better in mid lane than top. If he's in your roster, if you know how to play him, I guess you could play him into certain champions, but honestly, like, why would you bust out Swain if you could bust out any of these higher tier champions, right? Who haven't I rated here? I think I've pretty much rated any champion who can even conceivably go top lane so far as that. Trundle, I'm gonna put in D tier. Do I need to say more than that? Yeah. He's playable, I guess. He technically goes top lane. I literally can't imagine a world where someone actually busts him out at this point, to be honest with you. It's just, yeah. Urgot, I'm gonna put into C tier. Once again, why would you play Urgot? Period. Why would you play Urgot? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to anyone? In all honesty, Urgot kind of reminds me like a shitty Gangplank. It's the same idea. It's the same idea. You're just gonna spam physical damage and then kind of get slowly outscaled, but still be able to one-shot people if you hit your stuff. I think it's actually more applicable than you guys realize. He's not unplayable, but he's just in the why bother tier. I'm not saying he's bad. Champions in C tier aren't unplayable. I'm just saying you could find a better version of that champion. What else we got here? Silco? I don't think Silco's very good in the current meta. I don't know. Vayne. Okay, Vayne's going into C tier. Maybe even B tier, to be completely honest. No, Vayne got nerfed pretty hard. There's no reason to pick Vayne if you can shit with people on Quinn. Where'd I put Quinn? Here? Or Jace? Or... honestly, I think Gangplank honestly fills the same bullshit role of being ranged Eternal Harass plus the complete inability to actually chase people down. So, yeah, it might not make sense at first, but it does kind of make sense. What else you got here? No. Nah, Viego. Some people still think Viego's a top laner, D tier. I'm just gonna, Vladimir, I'm also putting in D tier. Vladimir just has not survived the durability update, and I just rate him so low. I just don't give a shit about Vladimir. What? No, man. Wukong, oh, okay, Wukong's going to S tier. I honestly can't imagine how Wukong hasn't been nerfed yet. He's so broken in top lane, he's so broken in jungle. The only reason he's not picked more in top lane is because everyone picks him to jungle. I honestly, he's just disgusting. He's just stupid. He's stupid. He's a really stupid, overpowered champion. Wukong, sorry, this is not Wukong. Warwick, I'm gonna put in C tier. Once again, I don't think he's unplayable, but I just don't see a real reason to bring him out. He's really strong early. He can't push the wave. He can't take turrets really easily. He's definitely annoying, but other than just being annoying, what does he really do? Like, honest question, what does he do? He's annoying, he heals a lot, he's frustrating, and that's it, right? That's it. That's literally all he does. I think I'm pretty much Volibear. Volibear, I think I'm also gonna put into C tier now. I think Volibear was doing quite well, and then he got a lot of nerfs, and I think that those nerfs don't let him do very good. Should I put him lower? I'm contemplating. I'm gonna decide based on what other people. Yeah. I don't know. I think jungle Volibear can survive. I think top lane Volibear is done. I think if you actually play Volibear correctly with the correct items. No, I'm gonna put him in C tier. Here's my opinion. I think if people actually play Volibear correctly and stop doing fucking AP Volibear and stop doing Divine Center Volibear, I think he's still firmly playable. Just everyone's like, I'm gonna play Snowball Volibear and only build AP items. And oh no, I died because I was squishy. Oh, I didn't get my 9-item power spike. No. Yeah, stop doing that and he'll actually still be playable. What else we got here? Yone, I'm gonna put Yone in a firm B tier. Firmly playable, firmly fine. Not A tier. I think he's got some weaknesses. I think he's a bit weak to jungle dives and wacky shenanigans like that. But to be completely honest, he's a firm top lane pick at this point. I mean, in fact, I'm actually going to put him into A tier. I think he's a firm top lane pick. I don't think he's S. but lethal tempo Yone can run so many champions down. He's way more first pickable than people make him out to be. He's just got some weaknesses. His low base armor means that junglers can often dive him. He's low. He has good mobility into champions, but he doesn't have the greatest mobility out. So often people can just run him down quite easily. And I would say that's his weakness. But other than that, I mean, he's fine. Yorick goes into D tier. If you guys make me actually have to explain this, he's a piece of shit. He's awful. Everyone should look at Yorick and they should just laugh. Just laugh. Just laugh at Yorick. Does anyone play Yorick? Laugh at them. Laugh at every Yorick main you know. Does anyone play Yorick? Laugh at them. What else we got? Yasuo? C tier. Pickable? Playable? Selectable? Beyond that, I'm not so sure. He is a champion that people can pick. They can play him. But why pick him when you could pick Yone? Period. That's it. End of discussion. I'm not sure any of this. Oh, Zach? Okay, so I'll be honest. Zach Top has been tried to play. I don't rate him at all. Zach Top doesn't exist. Please stop saying he exists. Belveth Top does not exist. Nyla Top does not exist. None of these exist. Okay? Any of these other champions, I don't think I rate any of these other champions for top lane. I'm trying to think of anyone who could conceivably go top lane. At best, maybe Lissandra, but even then, it's like, what? No. I think that's it. I think that's literally it for top lane. I think we've rated every champion we can rate. So at this point, what I'm going to do is start ranking every champion in the game based within their tier. So I think within their tiers. So now I'm going to start trying to rank every champion, how well they rank within their tier, adjusting the tier list, stuff like that. Okay, so who is the best current top laner in the game? It's Gnar. In my opinion, Gnar is extraordinarily good. He has basically no weaknesses. He can team fight, he can split push, he can build to do anything. He can fight anyone. There's nothing really Gnar can't do. I actually think overall he is the single best top laner in the game. Yeah, that's my opinion. The second best is probably Gangplank. Gangplank is absolutely disgusting right now. Absurdly disgusting. I literally can't imagine how he hasn't been nerfed. They keep saying, we're gonna patch him in the next patch. Don't worry. But they've said that for like 2 months now. They said 2 months now of, we're gonna patch him in the next patch. No, patch him now. Then I'm gonna say Fiora is probably the third best. Then I'm honestly gonna go with Riven into Gwen into Wukong. I think that's firm for S tier. Of A tier picks, this one gets a little bit more open to interpretation. I think it's probably Darius. Darius is just, his win rate is just absolutely massive. I'm not putting him in S tier because I don't think he's like turbo broken. Actually, I don't think he's broken at all, but his win rate has just been absolutely massive for so long. There is basically no way he's not getting nerfed right now. Maybe not next patch, but definitely the patch after that, he's definitely getting nerfed. His win rate is just absolutely massive. I do think people play poorly into him and give him free wins, but other than that, next up, I might rank Aatrox here, probably. Or do I rank Jax? Well, the thing is, Jax is a really bad first pick, but as a second pick, you know what? I'm gonna rank Jax here on the caveat that he can't be first picked. You cannot first pick Jax, but I would say that if, like, the thing is, he plays well into a lot of champions. He's extraordinarily good. I don't think he's first pickable, but he's extraordinarily powerful right now. Next up is Aatrox. I think Aatrox is firmly here. Extraordinary first pick potential. Really no weaknesses. He doesn't do that amazing into the late game, but definitely he's a strong laner, and he's got a strong presence. He's a good bully. Then probably Camille, Ornn, Yone. Do I rate Yone higher than Ornn, though? I think Ornn's probably overall better than Yone. So I'd say between S and A, these are the champions you probably see in like 90% of high-ranking games. So Yeah, of everyone in high ranking games is probably who you see right here. For the B tier, I think I might rate Shen. I rate Shen pretty highly. I don't know. Yeah, I do rate Shen highly. Yeah. He's good, he's just not popular, and that's about where I'd rank him. Then, let's see, probably Tryndamere, Sejuani. I think I put Akali below them. Azir is good. I don't know where I want to rank Azir. Sejuani I probably want to put in last. Jace maybe after Sejuani. Quinn's up here. Lalaya, I put Lalaya over here. But Lalaya maybe we put here. Maybe we do it like this. And then I think Rengar's definitely better than most of these, to be honest. I think this is probably... See, this starts getting a little bit more interpretive because a lot of these champions have bad matchups and a lot of these champions have, like... Rengar's good, but he's got bad matchups. Mordekaiser's good, but he's got bad matchups. Who's better overall, like as a champion, can matter depending on how many bad matchups do they have. Are they weak to the jungler? You know, stuff like that. So who's better between here starts getting a lot more selective, and it's more up to your own personal interpretation. I think Renekton's firmly playable as well, but I don't know where I would rank him because Renekton doesn't really have bad anything. He just doesn't have good anything right now. So I think this is about B tier. I don't know. C tier, this is going to start getting real up to interpretation. This is going to be where it's like, you know, I have no idea how I'm going to possibly rank here. So let's who are the good champions in C tier? Probably... maybe Akshan, Silas, Garen. Probably Garen is the best of C tier, I would say. Then Swain, maybe. I've been ranked Swain up here. Singe is pretty, he's decent as well. Kindred I'm gonna put down. Oh boy. Yasuo we should probably put up here as well. I think I might put Yasuo at first, actually. Is that fair? I don't know. Set we'll probably put here. Let's see, Mundo, I might put Mundo pretty down low. Graves, I don't know. Graves is probably, of all these niche picks, Graves is probably the best. Rumble's probably ahead of these guys as well. Tahm Kench is probably ahead of these guys as well. Poppy's doing pretty good. I might put Poppy ahead of Rumble, actually. So, of the ones remaining, this seems decent. I'm not really sure. I think I might put Kiana down here, actually, at last. Kiana's firmly playable in top lane. It's just there's literally no reason, and she's not even really that good. So, yeah, I think, like, this is going to get super interpretive because, you know, there's no definite way to rank this, right? Like, how do you compare Shyvana versus Sion top lane, right? But if I was to try to do it, I think that, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is probably, fine. As to D tier doesn't matter. D tier has absolutely no impact. Don't even give a shit about D tier. If I put someone in D tier, they're terrible. Yeah, so this is actually firmly it. So I would say as of current patch 12.13, this is probably a good, fair approximation of where your champion would be in a tier list. It's not perfect, it's not undeniable, it's not going to stand up to perfect scrutiny, but I do think overall that this is a pretty good tier list, and it's going to be better than basically any other tier list you're going to find. So, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this, and we're going to read through my Patreon, starting from people who are at the highest tier to the least highest tier. And then, so special thank you to everyone who likes, thank you to everyone who leaves a comment, thank you to everyone who subscribes, thank you to my Patreon supporters, thank you to my YouTube members, thank you to anyone who just watches this video, thank you all. So, reading my Patreon supporters, thank you Ezequiel Quavaz, thank you Monica, Nicholas Hindrerer, TD Fish, 3 and a Hook, Amiru, Enthai, Blazin Rock, Christoph Marks, Crash Pinho, Genny Shelbert, Greg R.R., Horace the Burb God, Joseph Stalin, Josiah Davila, Coquerley, Malice, Mao Runner, Nortgron, Noxian Scion, Omar Nunez, Philemon Landry, Quill of Anguish, Sophie, Sophisticated Fart, Stinky Ratman, Destroy, Used Car Salesman, Andriano MDE, Amzarine, Ben G, British Mapper, Calum Niche, Creador, Dangda, Daniel Fiala, Daniel Huertes, Daisy Mew, Devon Jill, Eddie VCS, Yadgod, Eric Petanelli, Esteban Arias, Fell, Fanaku, Folyuki, Hentai with Senpai, Hoon Arthur, Johnny Boy, Justiceer, Kalfos Zeromar, Kijubii, Nyaptrol, Ludwig III, Manuel, Metal Am Morgan, Negative KDA, Orehalconite, Oz, PKZ, RH, Scorpion, Spook, Stickbird 34, Suki 02, Tenchi Kanashisa, Terra, Tomato, Undo, Uvo Plaja, Phylan, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfhound Kin, Wolfman, Yan Shuchi, Adam Golding, Ching Ming Vang. I'm probably going to have to stop reading these because we are up to a lot of names. But thank you all. Thank you all for being Patreon members. As for the rest of you guys still here,